I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow, but I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra, and since I made it here, I can make.
So I am Angelisa. I'm here with Gabrielle, and we're going to be talking to her about being a mother. So Gabrielle, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am 27 years old. I'm from the Bay Area originally, from Oakland, but I've been living in Sacramento for almost 10 years now. I am married. I've been married for 6 years, been with my husband for about 10 of those years, and we have a 2-year-old daughter together.
How did you make the decision to be a surrogate mother? Is it from your past jobs, and you've been seeing families that were unable to have families?
It's not so much that. I was just doing the research on foster care and adopting. When I worked for the group home with emotionally disturbed girls, I was this close to taking in one of the girls there for temporary foster care. I was going to keep her for about 6 months to 9 months, just while her mother got her things together, and my husband was all for it. And doing my research, because I had to go to parenting classes and get licensed to be a foster parent, I came across surrogacy and started reading into that, and I fell in love from that moment at the idea of being a blessing to someone else.
Absolutely. Is that the most rewarding part of it?
Oh, yes. Yes, and especially for my experience, the parents were there. I was put on early bed rest back in April. They flew down immediately from Europe, stayed in a hotel close by, and they went to all of my appointments. They were there at delivery when I was admitted. They watched my water break. They were there for the entire experience from the time I was 20 weeks to delivery. And seeing their faces when their children arrived was something that I couldn't replay in my head the same way each time. It was a different emotion, different experience each and every time.
So since it is separate from you, like you were saying, no, it wasn't your egg, it wasn't your husband's sperm, do you have any emotional connection to the twin?
No, I don't. And when I'm asked that question, because a lot of people want to know, well, how was it? How did you feel giving up these babies? And I don't look at it like I gave up my children. I gave the children back to their parents. I was the incubator, I was the oven, I baked these babies for their parents, and there is no attachment. My attachment, honestly, during the whole pregnancy was to the parents. I spent a lot of time with them. We went out every other day to eat, to just go to their hotel and sit poolside, just talk. I got really close to them. So toward the end, and after the delivery, call it postpartum or whatever the term is appropriate for it, I was already missing the parents. And it wasn't the children. I held the children, them on my chest. They were in the same room as me while the parents went back to the hotel to get clothing. And there was never a thought or a feeling like, oh man, I want these babies, or I want another child of my own. It was a beautiful miracle that I helped to create. And there was never any emotional attachment to the children.
Do you have any advice for a mother maybe thinking about being a surrogate or thinking about adopting? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, just know the risks. Know the risks. There's risks involved with adopting. You don't know all of the background, all of the history with the parents of the child that you're wanting to adopt. When you become a surrogate, you don't know. I didn't plan on having twins, number one. That was a 25% chance of me having twins, and it just happened. It happened. And so being put on early bed rest, not able to care for my daughter the same because she's 2 years old, she's active, she wants to play. I had her in daycare a lot more than I wanted her to be. I couldn't cook for myself. I had to order food and have it, brought to my home. So I would do your research, definitely. Do it for a family where you won't have any regrets about who did I just give these babies away to, I think you should definitely be well informed on the risk, most importantly.
So what was the most challenging part about that? Was there any type of strain on your relationship as a mother or a wife?
I would say the most challenging part of my journey was the family aspect. My immediate family, his immediate family, not understanding, not agreeing with our decision for me to become a surrogate and help a family. it definitely did put a strain on the family relationship. It did not affect myself, my husband, and my daughter, us, as much as it did the family members.
Is everything okay now? Would you do it again?
I would do it again. I would be a surrogate again, if it weren't for that family aspect. Things are slowly coming together on my side of the family a little faster than my in-laws. It's definitely culture and tradition that play a huge part in their idea of what it is to be a mother and a wife, and giving up my body for 9 months for someone else is not something that is acceptable to everyone. But I would definitely do it again if given the opportunity. It was a great experience.
You might have touched on this a little bit earlier. So you do have to have a child first. This was something that you planned after your 2-year-old, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mentioned it to my husband prior to having a family,
Okay.
and this is when I didn't know a whole lot about surrogacy, but I told him it's something that I wanted to do, and he thought, no way, are you going to give someone else a child, and we don't have one, you know? And so as time went on, and I decided I'm ready to have a child, we had our child, and I didn't really think about surrogacy again until I was searching for jobs, and it popped up, and I thought, wow, people really look at this as a job.
Yeah.
So that's how I got back into wanting to become a surrogate.
It's definitely beautiful being able to give that gift of life to someone.
Yeah. And my girlfriend's going to be a surrogate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're like empowering the whole world.
Yes. It's interesting. One day she texted me. We worked together at the group home, and we would talk, and chat here and there. But she texted me all of a sudden out of nowhere and say, how are you, Gabrielle? Like, what's going on? And I said, you know what, Kelsey, I'm actually about to be a surrogate. And she's like, no way, me too.
What?
And at the time, I moved forward with it, and she didn't, because she had just graduated with her master's. She just began being an MFT, and she's like, I can't be pregnant right now. I'm starting my career. But she's been there about a year now, and she's on her way. She just met with her couple that she's doing it for. They live in Pleasanton, and she's starting her journey. She's waiting on the big box of meds that I received, and she's going to start the process.
So how does that work? So you just sign up and then just go from there? I saw online that it's a lot of criteria that you have to meet, like medically. They want you to have a child.
Yeah. So if you're going through an agency, which I would definitely recommend for anyone who wants to be a surrogate, you have to apply with the agency, create a profile. Some agencies will match you with a couple first. Other agencies, like the one my friend is going through, has you go through your medical clearance, your physical, your psychological exam. I mean, they send you through some things to make sure you're solid and stable. And they would like for you to have had a healthy pregnancy with no complications or minimal complications. And so right now my girlfriend is at a point where she's needing to put on about 8 pounds in order to completely qualify, which is hard. Just like it's hard to lose 8 pounds, it's hard to gain 8 pounds. But that's where she's at with it. And if you go through privately, they don't necessarily require that you have had a child before. But that's definitely at your own risk, whether you're going through an agency or privately. But the agency definitely covers you. You have, a lawyer. You have life insurance policies in place. You have your medical insurance. Everything is set up for you, so you don't have to worry about a thing. And that was important to me because I work, and I was put on bed rest, early bed rest. I could not work, so the agency allowed it to where I was not missing any money. I was still getting paid as if I was going to work, because the parents, they put money in escrow, and then you get paid out for anything that you're losing. So it was amazing. So even if I couldn't work the full 9 months, I still have an income coming in.
Almost a lucrative business happening right now.
Well, and some people, when you do your research, some people make a career out of it. I know people who want to do it to pay off their student loans. I know people who want to do it because it's something that they're actually passionate about. I mean, and some people make a career out of it, which I don't know about that, but you can make, you can earn and be compensated a lot of money for being a surrogate.
Are you still in contact with your with the parents?
Yes. They're in surrogacy called intended parents, and I am definitely still in contact with them. I delivered the babies in June. In September, they flew my husband, myself, and my daughter out to Europe for 2 weeks. And so we stayed with them. They're from Belgium, stayed in Belgium, visited London, Paris. So that was their big thank you for doing what I did. And so we spent the 2 weeks out there with them, and I was able to see the children and bond, and we still keep in contact.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Do you have any other insight you would like to share with us before we wrap up?
I would say no matter what people, your family, your friends may think or have a strong opinion about the choices and decisions you want to make in your life, it's your life. You only have one to live. If you want to go out and jump out of an airplane, which I've done before, and my mother was so upset about it, but you do it. You live life to the fullest, and as long as it will not affect long term, and you never know, things happen, but your relationship with your husband, with your child, with your children, then you go for it and you live.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And that wraps up our first interview for Working Moms 20s.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever.